Hello there. In this video, I'm going to show you the 3 different drawing tools that are available to you in Embrilliance StitchArtist. The first one is very basic. It is draw with points. And the way it works is that Embrilliance will create an object based on where you have defined that object to be by clicking with your mouse. Now I'm trying to mimic the shape of this apple here. So I'm getting all the way around the apple, and when I get close to the beginning point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my shape. Now I've got a decent approximation of this apple here. The only problem is that it's kind of jaggedy. So what I want to do is I want to change these line points into curves, and I can do that simply by right-clicking on each one of them and changing them to curves. And what I'm seeing now is that these things are showing up around my curves, which are called handles. Handles are what you can use to manipulate the shape of the curves. Now, if those handles don't show up for you, you might need to toggle this button right here, which controls how to edit your object lines. So mine's on by default. If that's not on, you're not going to see your handles. So I'm going to go ahead, and you can see that I can get a nice approximation of this shape. Now, if that seems too labor intensive for you and you want to create a curved shape, you probably want to draw with Bezier. Use this second tool right here. And when I draw with this tool, you can see that I can put down points that are going to be defining my shape, and then I drag out the handles to control what that curve is going to look like. And you can see that I'm getting a very good approximation of this apple. So it takes a little practice to get used to this tool, but it sure is more efficient to use this than to do it the first way that I just showed you. I'm back near the beginning, so I'm just going to close my shape. I barely have to do any editing now at all to this shape. So the third way that you can draw shapes is to use the freehand drawing tool. And that's this one right here. I think this might be my least favorite one because, well, you'll see. If I want to create this shape, I'm just going to click and drag around it. Now, I'm working on a trackpad right now, so I don't have a lot of control over my cursor. But you can see I'm trying to be good at it, but it's kind of a rough approximation of this shape. When I get back to the beginning, I'm going to close my shape. Now that's a lot of extra control points that I really didn't need. You saw from the previous example that I could approximate the shape with very few control points. Now, of course, I can go in and I can select the control points and remove the ones that I don't want. But again, that's kind of labor intensive. Now this may be a good solution in some cases, especially if you only have StitchArtist Level 1, you don't have that Bezier drawing tool. So you might want to figure out a good methodology to work with those, either draw with points or this freehand drawing tool. But as you can see, they all do a similar thing in terms of generating an object. And after you have your object there, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to apply stitches to it like this. That's a big fill stitch area, which is kind of big and boring, and my outline is pretty rough. Or maybe you want to turn it into an applique. Well, that's an applique with an E-stitch, but we could easily change it to an applique with a satin stitch. So those are the 3 basic drawing tools in Embrilliance StitchArtist. And once you start to get familiar with these, then you're on your way to creating embroidery designs.